Have you ever wondered why some people stay sharp, active, and full of life even after turning 65, while others seem to slow down and fade away? As we age, we often hear messages about decline, about stepping back, about preparing for the end. But what if your story is different? What if hidden in your everyday habits, there are quiet little signs that whisper, "You're built for 100"? In this video, we're going to explore 8 subtle yet powerful signs that you might be one of the rare few with the strength, mindset, and resilience to live well beyond 100. Now, these aren't your typical signs, like hitting the gym every day or running marathons. These are quieter clues, signs that reveal something deeper about your rhythm, your emotional patterns, and how you move through life. Stick with me until the end, because not only will you recognize these signs in yourself, you'll also learn how to strengthen them, how to turn small habits into lifelong vitality. These aren't just signs of survival, they're signs of thriving. And they just might shift the way you see yourself from this moment on. Sign 1. You feel truly at peace in your own company. One of the most overlooked indicators of a long, healthy life is this: how you feel when you're alone. Not lonely, just alone. If silence doesn't scare you, if you feel calm, steady, and even recharged when it's just you and your thoughts, that's not ordinary. That's a quiet kind of superpower. Most people are constantly chasing noise, scrolling, talking, watching, because stillness feels uncomfortable. But if you enjoy your own company, if the quiet feels like a companion rather than a void, you're wired for emotional stability. That kind of peace, it's linked to reduced stress, better heart health, and a balanced nervous system. Maybe for you it shows up as long, slow walks with no destination, or peaceful evenings on your porch with no phone, no distractions, just the sky and your thoughts. That's not just peace. That's longevity in action. Maybe you've noticed something subtle about yourself. When others get restless or complain about being bored, you're just fine. You can sit quietly, reflect, or move through simple tasks around the house and still feel content. That kind of peace, it's not just a personality quirk, it's emotional self-sufficiency. And no, this isn't about being introverted, it's about being whole. You see, research shows that chronic loneliness can harm your physical health. It can speed up aging, weaken your immune system, and even increase the risk of memory loss. But what you have is different. It's not the loneliness that depletes. It's the kind of solitude that restores. You've learned how to live from the inside out. You've found peace not in avoiding people, but in being deeply connected to yourself. When people come to you, they feel that. You bring a sense of calm. You don't get caught in the noise or the drama. You listen more than you speak. And when you do speak, people pause to hear it. That quiet, steady energy you carry, it's not just magnetic, it's protective. It shields you from the kind of emotional chaos that wears the body down. And the beautiful part is this: it's not something you're born with, it's something you grow into. So if you're in your 60s, 70s, or even 80s, and you've noticed that being alone doesn't shake you the way it once did, take that as a quiet victory. It means you've built a strong foundation inside, one that doesn't depend on outside validation or constant distractions. Across the world, from Okinawa to Sardinia, many of the world's longest living people share this same inner peace. They live rooted in simple routines, anchored in spiritual calm, and emotionally balanced. And this kind of climate within, a calm, clear emotional landscape, it's like fresh air for your body. It nourishes everything else. So if you find joy in solitude, if it brings you clarity, peace, and even joy, that's not just who you are. It's a sign, a quiet but powerful clue that you're built for the long run. Sign 2. You wake up without an alarm clock. Here's another surprising signal you might be built for long life. You often wake up on your own without needing an alarm. Sounds simple, right? But this small habit actually reveals something powerful about how well your internal systems are working. When your body rises with the sun instead of being jolted awake by noise, it means your natural clock, Your circadian rhythm is strong and well regulated. This isn't random. It usually comes from years of steady habits, low stress, and inner balance. If you're in your 70s and still waking up naturally, alert, and refreshed, that's a big deal. It shows your brain and body are still in sync. And here's what that means for your health. People with regular sleep-wake patterns tend to have stronger immune systems, better metabolism, and more stable blood pressure. But it's not just about when you wake up. It's about how you feel when you do. If you're clear-headed, if you don't need 2 cups of coffee just to function, if you start your day with calm rather than chaos, you're aging gracefully. Sure, we all have sleepless nights here and there. That's normal. But if most mornings you wake with the daylight and wind down with the darkness, it's a sign you're living in alignment. Your body is flowing with nature, not fighting it. I've seen this in older friends who are thriving well into their 90s. They wake up early, not because they have to, but because they're ready. No alarms, no rush. They stretch, make a simple breakfast, and begin their day in peace. And here's the deeper truth. When your body no longer needs to be shocked awake, it means your sleep is truly doing its job. It's restorative, it's healing, and it's preparing you for a long, vibrant life. That kind of deep, healing sleep, night after night, does more than just rest your body. It repairs cells. It balances your hormones. It even clears waste from your brain that builds up during the day. Waking up without an alarm, that's not just discipline. That's your body's quiet way of saying, I'm still in sync. I'm still functioning just the way I was designed to. It's a sign of inner harmony, your lifestyle matching your biology. And it's something shared by many people who live beyond 100. So, if you find yourself waking up before your alarm or haven't used one in years, take that as a beautiful message from within. I'm still in rhythm. If you're still with me and this is resonating, comment number 2 below so I know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, now's a great time. Click that button and turn on the bell. Your support helps us bring more empowering content your way. Now let's move on to the next sign. Sign 3. You forget the small stuff, but remember the big lessons. At first, misplacing your keys or forgetting why you walked into a room might feel like a red flag. But what if I told you it might actually be a good sign? Because when you still hold on to what matters, the lessons, the values, the meaningful memories, your brain is doing something smart. It's not failing, it's focusing. You might forget a name for a moment, but still remember what your father taught you about patience, or the way your partner smiled at you decades ago on your wedding day. That's not forgetfulness. That's wisdom, prioritizing what truly lasts. Science backs this up. As we age, the brain becomes more selective. It starts letting go of trivial details to protect the emotional, moral, and meaningful memories that shape who we are. You may not remember the plot of a TV show from last night, but you vividly recall the moment your grandchild was born. You remember how you survived heartbreak, how you found peace after grief, how you grew stronger. That kind of memory, it's protective. It keeps your emotional health intact, lowers anxiety and depression, and supports cognitive function as you age. And here's the beautiful part. You also begin to see the big picture more clearly than ever. You're less reactive, more forgiving, more grounded. In your youth, maybe you stressed about every detail, but now you know what really matters. You carry a calm that can soothe a child, lift someone's spirits, and remind others of their worth. So yes, maybe you misplace your glasses sometimes, but you still carry a depth of memory and presence that makes others feel seen, safe, and loved. And that's the kind of intelligence that lasts. A long life isn't just about how many years you've lived. It's about how much meaning you've carried along the way. And if your memory is less about collecting and more about curating, then you're aging not just gracefully, you're aging wisely. Sign 4, you complain less than people half your age. It may not seem like much, but if you've noticed that you complain less than you used to, especially less than people much younger than you, that's a powerful sign. Fewer complaints don't mean fewer problems. They mean greater resilience. A calm, low-stress mindset isn't just easier to live with, it's incredibly healing. Science has shown that chronic stress accelerates aging. It raises blood pressure, weakens the immune system, and even damages cells on a microscopic level. But when you respond to life with patience instead of panic, when you choose peace over petty frustrations, you're protecting your body from the wear and tear of negativity. Maybe you've noticed that you don't get worked up about small aches or world events you can't control. You've learned to focus on what you can influence, your attitude, your actions, your peace. That kind of inner climate, it's like a protective shield against the effects of aging. It keeps your heart calm, your relationships steady, and your body healthier without you even realizing it. But here's the truth. When someone learns to let go of what they can't control, when they smile and shrug instead of snapping or stewing, their body listens, and it thanks them for it. If you're someone who says, "It is what it is," and truly means it, that's not giving up, that's wisdom. That's the result of years, maybe decades, of learning what deserves your energy and what doesn't. You've probably noticed it. While others complain about the weather, the traffic, or how things aren't like they used to be, you find yourself thinking, life's still pretty good. That mindset, it's rare, and it's deeply healing. Negativity tightens your muscles, shortens your breath, interrupts your sleep. But peace, true peace, does the opposite. It relaxes the body, it steadies the heart, it improves digestion, it even helps repair cells. And here's what's fascinating. This peaceful way of living isn't something most people are born with. It's something that comes after walking through fire, through grief, through sickness, through disappointment. But those who live the longest, they're often the ones who've come out the other side not bitter but brighter. They've seen what matters. They've let go of what doesn't. I once met an 83-year-old man named Harold. He'd lost his wife, his siblings, most of his hearing, but every morning he'd sit outside with a cup of coffee, nod at the sky, and say, "Another good day." That isn't denial. That's discipline. That's the practice of holding on to what's good, even when life gets heavy. Now, don't get me wrong. This doesn't mean you never feel sad or frustrated. You're human. But if those feelings don't control you, if you bounce back quickly, if people tell you that your energy is calming, that being around you feels lighter, take that seriously. You've created a healing emotional climate, not just for yourself, but for everyone around you. Because long after others have burned out from carrying every little frustration, you'll still be walking forward, steady, light, and full of grace. If you're still watching and finding value in these insights, comment number 4 below, so I know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please do. It helps us keep sharing wisdom that uplifts and empowers. Now let's move to the next one. Sign 5. Slower steps, but more mindful movement. If you've noticed your steps getting slower over the years, don't rush to label it as decline. In many cases, slower steps are smarter steps, because when your movements become more mindful, more intentional, you're showing something powerful. Your mind and body are working together to protect you. Quickness is often overrated, especially with age. Rushing leads to falls, but measured, steady movement, that's self-preservation in motion. When I see someone in their 70s or 80s walking slowly but confidently, hand on the railing, not out of fear but out of wisdom, I don't see weakness, I see experience. I see someone who knows their body, their limits, and their path. That kind of awareness means your brain is still clearly communicating with your muscles. It means your senses are sharp, your reactions are calm, and your decisions are intentional. It's not just walking either, it's how you rise from a chair, how you reach for something high, how you navigate a busy room. Those little decisions speak volumes about the strength of your nervous system. Mindful movement protects you. It prevents falls, injuries, and the kinds of setbacks that can change everything in a moment. People who live to 100 often have one thing in common. They've avoided major accidents, and that's largely thanks to how they move. With awareness, not impulse. They also often build rituals around movement. A quiet walk every morning, a stretch routine before bed, Tai Chi under the trees. These aren't workouts, they're ceremonies, a way of honoring the body and staying connected to it every single day. So, if your steps are slower, your posture more upright, your eyes scanning your path with care, that's not decline, that's mastery. That's your body and mind working in perfect rhythm. In a world that treats slowness like weakness, let me tell you the truth. Slowness plus control equals strength. And if you're moving through your day with calm, deliberate steps, don't second guess it. That's not just a habit. That's an art form that helps extend your life. Sign 6. Outliving the doctors who once treated you. Now this one might sound a little strange, but if you've started realizing that some of your old doctors, your GP, your cardiologist, even your surgeon, have passed on and you're still here, and that says something. This isn't about bragging. It's not about keeping score. It's about recognizing resilience. To still be living, laughing, and learning while the professionals who once looked after your health have moved on, that's no small thing. It means your choices, your habits, your outlook, and yes, maybe even your genes are doing something right. You're still standing, and that alone is worth honoring. Longevity is rarely about just one thing. It's not one magic food, one exercise, or one decision. It's a collection of quiet, steady choices made over time. Maybe you've had decades of eating well, nothing extreme, just nourishing meals. Maybe you stayed active, not in the gym, but in your garden, doing chores, walking your dog, staying engaged with life. Maybe you never smoked, or maybe you did, but stopped long ago. Whatever your path, there's something inside you that's been quietly keeping the lights on. Strong, steady, resilient. I once met an 84-year-old woman named Carol who laughed and said she'd had more doctors than shoes and outlived most of them. But behind her humor was something more. She still had her sharpness, her independence, her warmth. She read the paper every morning. She remembered the names of all her great-grandkids. And she told me something I'll never forget. I just never stopped living. And that mindset matters. People who live long lives often do so because they stay engaged. They don't withdraw. They don't label themselves as old in a way that shuts life out. They show up. They care. They participate. That emotional, mental, and spiritual energy often does more for the body than any prescription ever could. Outliving your doctors also speaks to something deeper, resilience over time. Many who pass early deal with chronic illness, overwhelming stress, or tough genetics. But if you've made it into your 70s or 80s and still wake up with purpose, with a routine, with curiosity, that's not just luck, that's sustainability. Sure, you've probably had a few medical scares. Most people who reach their 90s have. The difference? They recover. Their minds and bodies know how to bounce back. It's like having an invisible system inside you, regulating blood pressure, healing tissues, keeping everything moving. And yes, part of it might be biology, but a lot of it is belief. It's waking up and choosing to keep going, even when something aches, even when the house is quiet. It's asking questions, picking up new hobbies, learning how to use that new phone, showing up for your family. That spark, that willingness to stay engaged, it's what separates those who survive from those who truly thrive. So, if you found yourself still cooking, laughing, fixing things around the house, while the doctors who once treated you have long since retired or passed, that's not just time passing, that's your body saying, I'm still here, I've still got more to give. If you're still here and still watching, comment number 6 below so I know you're with me. And if you haven't subscribed yet, now's the time. Your support helps us keep sharing these powerful insights. Now, let's move forward. Sign 7. Eating, simply, and stopping. Before you're full, if you've naturally developed the habit of eating just enough, stopping before you're full and choosing lighter, simpler meals over rich and heavy ones, you're aligning with one of the most reliable longevity habits seen across the globe. And here's the key. It's not just about food. It's about intuition. As we age, our instincts often grow wiser. If you've started listening to your body, really listening, when it tells you it's had enough, that's something special. A lot of people think longevity comes from a perfect diet, counting calories, taking the latest supplements. But when researchers study centenarians in the world's blue zones, it's not about what they add to their plate. It's about what they don't do. They don't overeat. They don't obsess. They don't eat out of boredom or emotion. They eat until they're satisfied. Then they stop. If you've noticed that big portions no longer appeal to you, or that you prefer simple meals over rich, complex ones, that's not just personal preference. That's wisdom. That shift does powerful things behind the scenes. It improves digestion, keeps blood sugar more stable, reduces inflammation, and protects your heart, your brain, and your immune system. In Okinawa, Japan, one of the most well-known blue zones, there's a practice called Hara Hachi-bu, which means eating until you're about 80% full. That gentle pause before fullness, that's not deprivation, that's balance. Meal after meal, it gives the body room to rest, reset, and thrive. And maybe you've made this shift without even trying. Maybe you used to go back for seconds. Now one plate feels like plenty. You've found what feels enough, and that is a gift. Maybe rich desserts don't tempt you the way they once did. Maybe you're just more satisfied with the simple pleasures, a piece of fresh fruit, a warm bowl of soup, a comforting cup of tea. That shift isn't about losing appetite. It's about gaining awareness. If you take your time with meals, chew slowly, savor every bite. That's not just a nice habit. That's powerful healing in action. You're activating your body's rest and digest system, the part of your nervous system that calms stress, promotes digestion, supports healing, and encourages healthy aging. Again and again, I've seen this in people who live long, vibrant lives. They don't eat to escape. They eat to nourish, and they do it in peaceful environments, not rushed, not distracted, often at a table, not in front of a screen. So if food has become simpler, gentler, more balanced in your life, don't dismiss it as just age. See it for what it truly is, a sign of wisdom, a sign that your body knows what it needs, and that you're finally listening. That natural rhythm, quiet as it may seem, is one of the strongest indicators that you're built to last. Sign 8, finding joy in routine, not just novelty. In a world that constantly celebrates newness, new gadgets, new places, new experiences, it's easy to think a meaningful life must be packed with variety. But here's the quiet truth. Many people who live the longest don't chase novelty. They find deep joy in routine. If you've come to appreciate your daily rituals, watering the plants in the morning, taking a slow afternoon walk, listening to the same radio station while cooking dinner, that's not stagnation, that's strength. There's comfort in repetition. Your nervous system recognizes it. Routine helps regulate your internal clock, improves your sleep, eases digestion, and lowers anxiety by creating predictability. And it gives your mind something rare these days, clarity. I once met an 87-year-old man named Edward who had eaten the same simple breakfast every morning for over 30 years. When I asked him if he ever got tired of it, he smiled and said, "It's one less thing to think about. It leaves space for the stuff that matters." That's the kind of clarity that comes with age. The ability to focus on connection, reflection, and gratitude. You may notice that your days feel more peaceful when they have structure, that you look forward to your morning stretches, your afternoon tea, your evening call with a loved one. These rituals aren't boring. They're anchors. And here's something beautiful. Routine doesn't mean your world is shrinking. In many ways, it means your inner world is expanding. By grounding yourself in the familiar, you create room to notice life's tiny joys. The way sunlight pours through your window, the rhythm of your breath, the feeling of your favorite chair. These moments may seem small, but they build a life that is rich in meaning. Sure, you may still enjoy adventure and surprises, but if you've come to understand that peace doesn't come from chasing something new, it comes from honoring what already works, then you've discovered something many spend a lifetime searching for. The longest living people often have sacred routines, same meal times, same walking paths, same conversations with familiar faces, and in those repetitions they don't feel boredom. They feel belonging. So if your life feels familiar, if your habits feel steady, if your days feel right, don't mistake that for slowing down. That's not a sign of decline. That's a sign of arrival. You found something rare. Enough. And when you build a life from that place, not of chasing more, but embracing fullness, you create a foundation strong enough to carry you into the years ahead. As we wrap up this video, take a quiet moment to reflect on what you've just heard. Maybe one of these signs made you smile. Maybe a few caught you by surprise. But if you're 65, 70, 80, or anywhere in between, and you're still seeing these patterns in your life, hear this clearly. You are doing better than you think. These signs aren't loud. They don't come with trophies, but they are powerful. They reveal a kind of longevity that isn't built in gyms or hospitals, but in the small, steady choices you've made every single day. You don't need to run marathons or chase big dreams to be on the path to 100. You just need to keep showing up, living gently and honoring the rhythm you've earned. If this video spoke to you, please comment, "I'm still here and I'm still thriving," below. Subscribe and turn on the bell if you haven't already, so we can keep growing together. Thank you for watching. Stay strong, stay steady, and never stop living. Sometimes the strongest signs of resilience aren't loud at all. They show up in quiet moments, in the way you breathe through stress, in how you eat with mindfulness, in how you move with care, and how you still manage to find beauty in the ordinary. So ask yourself, what stood out to you the most today? Which of these signs do you recognize in yourself? Or maybe which one are you inspired to grow into? Sometimes just noticing a quiet strength within you, a strength you hadn't even named before, can change the way you walk through your day. Because this video isn't only about predicting your future, it's about honoring your present, acknowledging all the ways your body and spirit have adapted, persevered, and endured. And if even one part of you feels more hopeful, more grounded, or more confident after watching, then that alone is something powerful. That alone makes today worth it. Thank you for being here with us. We'd love to hear from you. Drop a comment below and share one thing you took away from today's message and how you plan to bring it into your life. Your voice matters to us. Reading your reflections encourages us more than you know. If this video spoke to your heart, please take a moment to like, subscribe, and share. Your support helps us continue making meaningful content to uplift, inform, and inspire. Thank you again for watching. Take care of yourself, and we'll see you in the next video.